Oh, hey everybody, welcome to A Culinary Journey. You know what I'm doing? Looking through a cookbook. That's right. And I would just have to say, bon appetit, y'all. No, you didn't miss the show or it's changed or anything like that. But I do get a lot of people who ask me for the guests that I have on the radio and what their cookbooks are all about. And I figured we do like a little cookbook-inspired series on our culinary journey. What better way? You know, they say you could take journeys through books, right? You could learn about faraway places, but you can learn about people and cultures the same way. I had Virginia Willis, great cookbook author. She's on my radio show, and she has a book called Bon Appetit, Y'all. And in it, there's grits, there's chicken fricassee, there's pimento stuffed cherry tomatoes. And I get all these recipes, and I put them in front of me. I said, I'm going to make it for you today on the show. Now, the difference is I'm going to make a little twist to the recipes because that's what you could do. You could get inspired by cookbooks, and a cookbook like Bon Appetit, Y'all will give you inspiration for years. So we're going down south with a little French flair and a lot of great ideas with grits and corn, chicken fricassee, and stuffed pimento peppers, which were supposed to be stuffed in something else. You'll hear all about it because your culinary journey starts now. Hey everybody, welcome back to my culinary journey through the southern part of the United States with a French twist. Yep, it's Bon Appetit, y'all. That's the cookbook I'm getting inspired by today to make some great ideas. Now, down south, pimento peppers in cheese stuffed in grape tomatoes or in little tomatoes, they're a big hit. So everybody puts them out. Well, we're going to kind of change them around a lot. A lot. We're going to take some cheddar cheese, some mayonnaise, and some grated onion. We'll talk about grating an onion. We're going to stuff them in Peppadew peppers. They're very similar to pimentos. They got this little sweet tartness to them. They're going to be great for our appetizer. Then we're going to make some grits. Now, I had to cheat a little bit because I can't find all the good grits. We're up here in New England. Can't always get the best ingredients as far as those grits go, but we're going to play with that. But we're going to give it a ton of flavor thanks to Virginia's recipe. And then finally, the entree today is going to be a chicken fricassee. Something that she learned when she was in French culinary school, and then we're gonna really make that pop with some red wine vinegar. We're gonna cook down chicken thighs. We'll talk about that. So I need to get started because we have a lot of cooking to do. We're gonna start with our chicken because I want to get that seared off and then kind of stewing that within the red wine vinegar and all the flavors around it. All right. So the first thing we're gonna do is gonna get our chicken going. Traditionally, chicken fricassee, it's usually made with a guinea fowl, guinea hen. These are fattier birds. They're older birds. They need to be braised and cooked for a little bit longer. Well, the closest thing to that is going to be, whether if you use a whole chicken, that's great, but you'll get this nice dark meat from chicken thighs. Get them on the bone right here with the skin on them. We'll get in our pan nice and hot. And what I'm going to do is we're going to just salt the thighs real quick. Now, why I like to do recipes out of cookbooks, because they really help me. They inspire me. They kind of get me going in a different direction, something I never did before. And even though there are recipes that I've done, there's always a little twist. That same recipe could be done 20 or 30 times different until you find the right one that you really love. It's still, you could change it and evolve with it. So we're going to get our chicken thighs in here. Hopefully we got it nice and hot. Oh, we got a nice sizzle. We're going to brown our chicken in here. We'll probably try not to crowd the pan too much. In this case, we probably could get 4 in here. We'll get these 4 going. I'll season it on the top. And voila. Get that out of the way. So we're going to turn that down a little bit. We're going to let that sear for a couple of minutes on each side. Got it down to about medium heat. We're going to get the skin nice and crispy. We'll take it out. We'll get our other ingredients in there. While that's happening, I want to get my corn going for my grits. Now, the idea about grits, I mean, when you're talking about grits, there's certain types of corn that make grits. Stone corn is a great one. to make grits from. It's great to get some stone ground grits, which are they take a little longer to cook. And if you know my show, you've seen me cook polenta before. Same concept. Takes a little longer to cook, but it's really well worth it. Up in the Northeast, finding stone ground grits, not always available. So you can use a quick grit, and that's going to take a little less time. But we're going to give it a lot of flavor. We're not going to just let the grits be the sole point of the day. What we want to do is give it some corn, some parmigiano, and some fresh herbs. And then we're going to also, with a cool trick I learned from Virginia in her cookbook, we're actually going to add in the onion, but we're going to grate the onion. So these are Vidalia onion stone grits. Now, luckily, in Keene, I'm able to have, there's a farmer in town that grows a sweet onion. Now, you can't call them a Vidalia onion. To get a Vidalia onion, which are these sweet onions, you got to get them from Vidalia, Georgia. And I could buy them, but when I could get a local onion, it's so much better. Now, what I want to do to this onion is I want to get it grated. I want to grate the onion, and that's really cool because it's going to melt into the grits. So let's check on my chicken here real quick and make sure I have that cooking up nice. See how it's looking. Well, it's not quite as brown. I want to get it nice and brown. So let's let it cook on medium heat again. Yeah, right down there. All right, so we're going to grate our onion. See how fine you want to grate it. I'm going to grate it on the bigger side. But as I grate it, what I'm doing is releasing the oils, breaking it down, making it nice and wet. And we're going to use this in our pimentos too. You'll see what we'll do in a second. Oh, this is going to be good. Look at that. See how that comes out? It's so much different than actually cutting your onion. Even when you cut your onion, you're not going to get it as fine or as liquidy as you could get it now. Another way you could do too is put this in a food processor and chop it up. But this is a great way to go. Look at that. It's going to melt in there. There we go. We're going to save this one up for our pimentos later. We want to get this part cooking because what we want to do is get the cooking done early on in the process of our dinner, because the pimentos that we're going to stuff, or the peppadews in my case, those peppadews, we're going to be able to do them really quickly and they're not cooked. The other thing we're going to do is fresh corn in season. Try always buying the corn that's in season because you're going to get a better sugar content out of it. We're going to just take them right off the husk. This corn is fresh corn, uncooked, that I cleaned up. And we're going to get that right in there and saute with our Vidalia, or our non-Vidalia onion, our faux Vidalia onion, so to speak. All right? And then, Virginia, if you're watching this, you know I'm not going to be using real grits or stone ground grits, but that's okay, because if you're inspired by a good recipe, you can make tweaks to it as long as you make it come out good in the end. All right. So we have our corn going in one pan. We're going to salt it and pepper it. We would need about 4 or 5 minutes to let the corn just kind of get soft and cook within the onion. This is going to be delicious. One of my favorite things in the world is fresh corn. And my other favorite thing in the world is polenta. So corn grits and Parmigiano cheese. Oh, when I saw that in the cookbook, I just went crazy. So that's going to be wonderful. Let's get that going. There you go. Now, let's check on our chicken. We're going to flip that over. Yeah, nice and brown. You got that skin. Leave your skin on, especially when you're doing a fricassee. Chicken fricassee. The ingredients for the chicken fricassee are really simple, because we're really just going to add some red wine vinegar to get some acidity into the dish. We're going to add a good red wine vinegar. Now, when you're looking for red wine vinegar, and especially when you're stewing a fricassee like this, you want to find a good red wine vinegar. Spend the extra money. Or you can make your own. If you have a vinegar that has a mother, have you ever seen that? Where like it kind of has stuff floating in the vinegar and you think, what's wrong with it? Nothing. That actually is going to help vinegar get better as it goes on. As you go halfway down through, it's really cool to put the vinegar, in the vinegar you put more red wine and you just keep adding and adding, and you'll have made one of the best red wine vinegars you could ever work with. So, and that's a trick or a hint you get right from Virginia's book. So we got our chicken going. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this corn plate that we had. And I'm going to take my chicken out so I could start the next part of what I want to do. And that's getting the vinegar and my stock in here for my fricassee. Now, ingredients for your fricassee are pretty easy because we got to get it all back in and let it cook down. It is that red wine vinegar I talked about, and then some chicken stock and crushed garlic. Now, whenever you're cooking with garlic, a couple of things happen. When you use garlic and you slice it, you're going to get one flavor. When you crush it, you'll get another. It actually becomes nuttier, really strong aroma, becomes nuttier. When you slice it, it's more pungent. It's really incredible what that could happen. So what I'm going to do is just hand crush the garlic, just so I could get pieces, and that's going to go right into my saute here where the chicken started. So I got these big pieces of garlic, and we're going to get this nice nutty flavor. I mean, when you smell it, it just comes out. The other thing I'm going to put in is my vinegar. Now, unlike wine where it'll flambe, you don't really have to remove it from the heat, and because we have high sides, we don't have to worry about it. But one thing you do have to stay away from is once you put the vinegar to this, those fumes, they'll come and get you. So don't stand over it. So we're going to put our vinegar in. You don't want a vinegar facial. All right, we're going to let that cook down, and then we're going to put our chicken stock in. And so we're going to let that start cooking down. We'll turn up the heat on there. We get our chicken back in, and then we can let these kind of hang out in their little fricassee liquid, and we'll finish that up a little bit later. All right, we have our corn cooking, we have our chicken fricassee working. When we come back, what we're going to do, we're going to get our water in there and start getting ready for our grits, but we're going to stuff our pimentos, or taking stuffed pimentos and taking them out of grape tomatoes, we're going to stuff our peppadews. Don't go away, because we have a lot more great stuff. We're at Virginia Willis's cookbook. Bon appetit, y'all, on this culinary journey. Don't go away. Hey everybody, welcome back to A Culinary Journey. All right, so what we have going on today, we're doing Bon Appetit, y'all. It's a cookbook. It's inspired me to do 3 recipes. One's a chicken fricassee, which I got to add some tomatoes to in a second. The other one is the grits that are going to go with my chicken fricassee, because I love corn and I love polenta, you know, me and my Italian heritage. And, you know, when you talk about grits, you're talking about amazing polenta. And then the other one is a stuffed, usually cherry tomatoes as far as the recipe goes, stuffed pimento cherry tomatoes. I'll tell you all about that in a second. The other thing I want to do is add to my chicken is my tomatoes. I'm using these really good, cherry tomatoes, and we're going to add that in there too, and we're going to let that cook down. All right, so we got tomatoes, we got vinegar, we have our chicken stock. We're going to let all that cook down. Over here we have our corn. I'm going to add a couple of cups of milk to the corn. All right, we're going to let that cook in, and we'll add some water if we need to, but we're going to let that kind of simmer. Salt and pepper. Let's get some salt and pepper in there, and we'll add some salt and pepper to our fricassee also. We'll let that cook down. All right, so I'm grating an onion again, and we're going to be using that in our stuffing right here. Let me get that into my mix. Grating the onion is a great way, again, of getting all the flavors of the onion without having all these big pieces of onion into something. So let's get that into our shredded cheddar. So we have shredded cheddar, onion, salt and pepper, and usually at this point you add in some pimentos. It's a sweet vinegary pepper that you would add into this. And this is probably served in the South anytime you go over someone's house or for a big event. Then they add a little mayonnaise. What I did is I have a little roasted garlic mayonnaise that I'm going to add to that. And then we're going to mix this up. So what I wanted to do with this type of stuffing, instead of what they usually do with the pimentos in it, I'm going to chop up some fresh parsley and add that to here. And then what I want to do is stuff them into what are very much like a pimento pepper, these Peppadew peppers. Again, sweet and vinegary, all those kind of flavors. Now you could do it a couple of ways. You could pipe them in. We're going to just use our spoon, and we're going to stuff them in there. Really easy. Let me get that out of the way. And we're going to chop up some fresh parsley into our mix. And that's really all there is to when you're doing a pimento pepper. And, you know, one of the cool things about a cookbook like Virginia's is that you learn a lot about her heritage, her food, things she grew up with that her grandmother or her meme would make for her. And these are a couple of dishes that she would find. We're all over the place. Big fan of grits. I think there's very few Southerners that you could go to and it'll tell you they don't like grits. I don't think they're allowed back into the South if they say that, but it's definitely been one of my favorites. That's why I'm excited to make that. So this is cheddar cheese, a little bit of mayonnaise, some grated sweet onion, and we don't have a Vidalia. I don't have a Vidalia here. I mean, I could get it, but I'd rather get the local onions that we have here. We have the local sweet onion from Green Wagon Farm, and oh, look at that. I'm almost thinking I just want that the way it is. It's funny, in a cookbook she says one of the best ways to do it is just to put it on a spoon and eat it. And you know, who am I to mess with someone who knows what they're doing? So, she's right. Yummy. All right, so these are going to be stuffed into my little peppers here. I'm going to stew this down. We're not too far away from making our, I can't wait for the grits. You guys don't know. Let's see, this is not as easy as it looked on TV. Hold on. Oh, I got an idea. Let's open them up a little bit. There we go. What we're going to do is we're going to pop these in half, and we're going to stuff them by the halves. And we'll just pop them like that. And then this way they go a lot further. Look at that. These are going to be delicious. Let's get a plate out for them. So when you do have company over, it'll be a nice little appetizer, and they'll go a long way. You can, like I said, put these in a piping bag and then pipe them out right into the inside of the cherry pepper, or inside of the, in this case, the, what do I call these things? Peppadews. Yeah, that's what they are. They're really good, by the way. I could get stuck eating these all day. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a break because watching me pop these all together when I could be eating one and then plating another one, it's just not as much fun. So what I'm going to do is finish doing these, get our appetizer ready. We're really close on our chicken fricassee, and then we're going to make our grits with quick grits, not 45 to 60 minutes like the good grits would be, but it's still going to be just as good because we're going to add a ton of flavor to it. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Hey everybody, welcome back to our culinary journey. Doing a couple of things here. So we are making food inspired by the cookbook. Bon Appetit, y'all. That's right, that's the name of the cookbook. Virginia Willis is the author. And we're doing a couple of dishes inspired from that cookbook. Items that I really haven't cooked before or have a little tweak on it that I'd really like to do something different with. And she really inspired me to come up with these recipes for today. Great read if you want to get it. Bon Appetit, y'all. Absolutely incredible. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up our grits. So I had corn, whole milk. We had the grated sweet onion in there too. I'm going to use some instant grits for that. So we're going to get this up a little bit higher, and we'll get that in there and we'll start stirring that around. Put a little bit to start off with, and then we'll work on that as we go. This is going to be pretty amazing. I'm excited about the grits. That alone is the big hit for me. And the other thing we're making this chicken fricassee. Let's see, I'll let that cook up. That's golden. The chicken fricassee is really incredible. See, I'm pulling out the chicken now. We cooked it down. Dark meat chicken, because when you're doing the chicken fricassee, you usually use an older chicken. And in this case, we're using a dark meat chicken. We added vinegar, garlic that's been hand crushed, tomatoes from a can, and a little bit of chicken stock. There's also some thyme, and I'm going to get rid of some of that for our sauce, but I'm going to let this cook down, get it on high now so I get the sauce cooked down and thicken it up just a little bit. Whoop, don't put the wrong one on high, Luca. You don't want to do that. All right, so we're going to let that just kind of finish in itself, but the chicken is absolutely perfect. It's so cool. And then our grits are cooking down. I'm going to shut this off because these are a quick cook grit. I'm sorry, Virginia, that's all I could find in this area. But you'll be happy that I'm adding all the ingredients you mentioned, and you're going to absolutely love the way this comes out too. All right, so let that go a little bit. We're going to add Like Northern Italian people, good Southerner wouldn't be caught dead without some butter available, right? And the other thing is just a touch of cheese to add to our grits. And I love that she uses Parmigiano cheese in her recipe book. And then we'll put some fresh herbs in there. Now that sauce is cooking down really nice. I mean, it's going to get perfect finish to it. We'll just turn that down just a touch. Let's chop up some of our fresh parsley. Oh, you guys, you don't know what you're missing if you don't go out and get this cookbook and follow one of these recipes, because it's absolutely incredible. Get a little bit of parsley in our grits. This is what I've been waiting for all day, right here. Ooh, that vinegar is still really strong. It's really cool. Getting my vinegar facial as we speak. Finish it off with the butter. Oh, there we go. Ooh, that's strong stuff. All right, let's get that into a plate for us. Bigger spoons when I do this next time. Let's get that sauce right over our chicken with a big pieces of chopped garlic. Hold on, that's absolutely gorgeous. Try and keep out of your thyme leaves out of there, unless you use them for a garnish. Look at that. Doesn't that look beautiful? And then with a little bit of butter, we finished off our grits. And a little bit of butter. Who said a little bit of butter? It's a little bit of cheese. It's a little bit of butter. It's a little bit of grits. That's what it is. And we have our corn in there too. And we can get that on there. Oh, man. Well, I got nothing else to say but bon appetit, y'all. That's right. That's the name of the cookbook. And that was my inspiration for today. And I am really excited I got to do this. And hope you get a chance to do this also. Some great, great items. We'll garnish with a little bit of the extra parsley that I had left over. Great as an appetizer. I'm telling you what, my wife is going to make that for our next party because she loves it that much. This chicken, I can't wait to delve into. And of course, the grits is what I did this all for. I hope you had a good time. I hope you were inspired by the cookbook, and I hope you're inspired by what we do here every week. And I'll see you next time on A Culinary Journey.